In 2026, coding is a commodity because now AI can write millions of lines of codes in just a few seconds. And if you are really hiring for coders in 2026, you are already behind. And yes, that's right. There's a huge gap. Many people understand because, AI can do all of the work, the software industry is now collapsed and all that stuff. But no, that's not the real thing. AI can definitely write code for you, but it cannot run or build a business for you. Yes, it cannot navigate through HIPAA compliance. It cannot, verify if the response is under 300 milliseconds, or it cannot turn a $2 million database into a revenue engine. Today, most founders are drowning in what I call manual debt because you're hiring people to move your data from A to B. Like it's not only like moving data, but obviously you are trying to like automate things. You hire developers to build features then to that kind of don't talk to each other. So you're not kind of building some engine or a system. You are just kind of trying to build a wrapper around any LLM, like a kind of GPT wrapper. But instead, like when you should be building an engine, a system that really works for you, that like automate things for you and make your life easy and generate revenue for you. Okay, so let me share my screen and I'll show you the difference between a proper engineering operational system versus just a wrapper. Um, okay, so if you can see, it's a kind of diagram which shows proper system for the healthcare platform, um, and it's because like the production healthcare platforms don't work like just connect your GPT and do the stuff, but because it's the hard part is not generating text. The hard part is orchestrating the infrastructure, the workflows, permissions, integration, and the compliance. So if I show you this part, uh, so usually every enterprise system starts with complexity at the edge. Um, Patients access portals differently than the providers. Care teams operate differently than admins. External partners have completely different access patterns. And the most important thing, which is like the root of all of this is you add multi-factor authentication, role-based permissions, SSO, compliance boundaries, audit requirements, all these things. So before AI even exists, you already have a large orchestration problem. So then obviously the next step, it's the gateway and the edge layer. This is where most systems break under scale. Like as an architect, you focus on operational resilience because at scale you're managing authentication, request validation, high traffic routing, load balancing, rate limiting, security, integration spikes, request failures. There are a lot of things that you need to take care of. And yeah, this is the operational heart of the business. It's not a chatbot, not the UI, basically the workflows. How appointments works, the clinical coordination, the claims, payments, notifications, the task routing, the case management, all these stuff. And this is exactly where the operational efficiency and the revenue actually move. uh, because most companies don't lose money because they think that their AI is weak. But indeed, they lose money because their workflows are fragmented across disconnected systems. Now AI enters the platform, but notice something important. AI is not the center of the architecture. It's a service layer that's just supporting the operations. And that's a mindset shift most founders miss. AI should remove these some operational bottlenecks that were before, but it's not like
that it replaces the system design. Uh, that's why intelligence services are separated into conversational systems, clinical documentations, predictive analytics, risk satisfaction, and decision support. So, for example, if I talk about ambient clinical documentation, most people think it's speech to text, but production healthcare system requires much more than that. You need speaker separation, context understanding, structured node generation, summarization, clinical validation, and workflow safe outputs. Because if the system generates unreliable documentation, you are just on the edge of some legal risk. And the most important, the data architecture layer. This is where real systems are engineered, um, like the operational workloads, clinical records, analytics pipelines, documents, and embeddings all require different storage strategies. You cannot treat every dataset the same way. And if your architecture is weak, your AI starts hallucinating, retrieves the wrong context, or creates inconsistent outputs. And this part is the invisible infrastructure layer. Most people never think about the event streaming, workflow orchestration, async processing, schedulers, caching, multi-tenant isolations. Like these are a lot of things that one needs to take care of, and that's how a strong system is built. Um, and the obviously it's if it's a huge system, like it has to operate between different other systems as well. It has to coordinate with like EHRs, labs, radiology systems, pharmacies, insurance providers, payment gateways, regulatory systems, etc. So the real challenge is not building a software, it's coordinating ecosystems reliably. Underneath all of this, like underneath everything, security and compliance, like encryption, audit logging, data governance, disaster recovery, access control, HIPAA boundaries. These are very important. I would say not important. Like these cannot be like for granted. You cannot lose these kinds of things. Because in regulated systems, security is not a feature. It's the infrastructure. It's the core. So like hopefully by this you would have understand how system works, and how a architect or a engineer builds a system around AI and all other stuff.
We are entering a world where software alone is not sufficient, you know. Uh, and honestly, I think, most founders will agree with me. Uh, because, like, in the era of AI, you must have heard that, building a $1 million business is very easy, than before. And I totally agree because coding has become like, faster and easy. But also, it's not just some magic button that you can turn on AI and do that stuff. But it's like finding some architecture operational problem and then building the system around it that solves that bottleneck. I mean, like real systems, not some GPT wrappers. Real systems that saves time, recover lost revenue, help businesses scale intelligently, so this the real opportunity, and I believe like the companies winning right now and even the next years won't be that just use AI randomly. Those will be like who are building systems around these bottlenecks with the help of AI and using AI to scale, automate things. And that's where we come. So at AsTechware, we that's how we work. Before writing even a single line of code, We sit together, see the bottlenecks around the business, and see where we can automate it and build the system around it like a proper architecture flow. So if you like to build something or solve some problem and need real experts, so I think that's the right way to build it. Thanks.